Sunday morning, worked hard yesterday, so we're looking a bit tired. But we thought it'd be a good idea to film another tour. Some people have asked for it, and also it'll be a good way to kind of chronicle the changes. So we'll probably do a tour like every 6 months or so, and then we can see how things evolve. So here we go. This is January 2023. This is the courtyard. We're now parking our car in here. We still got these two sheds, but we got rid of the brick one over there, as you would have seen in the videos. We got these little panels in front of them so that Otto doesn't run in there and kind of escape, because things are quite loose and wild around there. Currently doing some mushroom substrate pasteurization over here in these buckets, but that's a story for another video. Inside the house is a little bit rustic at the moment. We've got we've got this main kind of entrance living room area, which is basically just storing some things. Lots of storage in here, which is the original kitchen area. Light comes on. Yeah, lots of stuff in here basically. And there's the sort of piping that we had to break open through the wall to set up some hot water and a boiler, etc. Stinks a bit in here for some reason, which isn't good news. Maybe I'll leave that open for a little bit. Over here, I've got like a spare bedroom. Again, more sort of storing of things, and an actual bed, which is pretty useful if people come around. We do have a TV in here. This is just a monitor that we'll be using for work. We have a TV that actually broke, which is a bit annoying because we have this really old electricity setup here, and I think we had like a surge of power, and it meant that the TV I think got fried basically, so now it kind of flickers, the screen flickers whenever we want to watch it, which is really frustrating. I got a bathroom set up here, so we had the plumber come in and basically install this boiler. It's pretty rudimentary because the pipes within the walls have completely rusted and degraded, because apparently they use too much salt in the concrete mixture, so that made the pipes all completely rusted. What he did is he just ran this pipe along the floor basically, because we told him it was a temporary situation. Just goes through a hole there in the wall into the kitchen to where it connects from the outside, and that means that we can have a nice hot shower, which is good. So yeah, we just got a toilet, sink and shower in here, which is nice, hot water. Here, this room is causing us lots of problems because the water is like, whenever it rains a lot, as it has done this winter, water is seeping out of the wall there. So we've got these old carpets there just to help kind of absorb it. But as you can see, there's a lot of mold and damp issues. So that's the main house. Still not much happening there. We are waiting for our licensing to be approved before we can properly start building with that. Same thing for the annex. So here we are in the little courtyard. Otto's being very naughty this morning for some reason. She's on heat, so she's attracting all the neighborhood fellas, and then she's making her go a bit crazy as well. But we've got this kind of setup here where we built this little fence in this area so that we can just let her loose and she can run around here without us worrying too much. But she does like to dig and hunt for stuff, which is a bit annoying. This is the annex, so we're using this quite a lot as a living space. We've got Otto's little pen thing over there, little living room area over here, table where we have breakfast and dinners. And then a kind of quite basic kitchen situation here with some plug-in electric hobs, sink with just cold water, etc., and all our food storage. Nice big fridge, which is really useful. Microwave, toaster, kind of basic kitchen setup. It just means that we don't have to actually cook in the van anymore, which makes things really useful.
No begging.
You begging? Huh? What are you doing?
No begging, huh? Sit. Paw. Yeah, good paw. Good girl.
So we're going to go for a bit of a walk around, and there's the van, which you know about, and it's probably very messy, so we won't go in there. But basically all we're using the van for at the minute is sleeping and working. So we go out here.
Come on, Nika. Good girl.
So a lot has changed in the last year. We've planted a lot of hedges along here. We've obviously made this fence, and down there's a lot of plant work going on, which we can see later.
We tried to have a vine arch here, but as you can see, our vines are without any leaves at the moment.
Yeah, so we've got a vine on each side of this kind of trellis thing, and hopefully the vines will kind of grow over that and make a nice little beautiful feature. And we've obviously been planting a lot of trees. So we've got a bunch of trees. This is a ginkgo, there's a couple of neshpras, it's an orange and a lime, the kefir lime, a couple of persimmons, some peaches, some cherries, etc. Lots of tree planting going on. Line of hedges over here continues till past the telephone pole, or the electricity pylon, and we want to continue that to make sure that we sort of cover the whole length of the land.
Brambles coming back already.
Yeah.
With all the rain.
So after we had the land cleared, most of the brambles were gone.
Yeah.
But lots there, which is the sort of piles here that we've been taking out when we've been planting the hedges. Oh, look at these cute ferns!
Yeah.
So many ferns coming up. That's cute. Yeah, we can let them grow up. Yeah.
Out of the stone.
Yeah, loads of little ferns, which is cute. Next to them also these little purple leaved thorny buggers, which is the brambles that is coming back. Yeah, this is a New Zealand Christmas tree, one of the first trees we planted. It was tiny and it's got a lot of new growth. All this light leaves is all new growth, which is really nice to see. And then the hedges kind of stop here, so we need to come and reclaim this little bit as well. It's been ploughed to get the roots of the brambles out like this, as you can see, but we just need to come and sort of level it off a little bit more and plant some more hedges. Now walking through the forest. So this is an area that was cleared by the telephone company or the electricity company, because the electricity wires run above it, which means that you can't have very tall trees. So this has been cleared for a while, and you can see these cork trees all coming up, and different types of oak trees. I think this is a different oak, maybe a honeydew oak or something. And then over there is where we've been doing lots of work ourselves as well, clearing out, because this used to be a huge patch of eucalyptus that was just sort of towering here. So it's nice to see that that's all cleared and the forest will start coming back. We need to do a bit of work on like the ground itself and making sure that it turns into a nice sort of soil layer that we can plant into and stuff. Plant some other trees and shrubs and bushes, etc. We also learned that you're not actually allowed to you're definitely not allowed to cut down cork trees in Portugal, and you're not even allowed to trim them actually, or like prune them, which is quite interesting. So if we wanted to take this tree for instance and take off these these bits down lower that are more sort of wiry and spiky, we wouldn't even be allowed to do that. So that's something for us to be aware of. You have to apply for permission. You have to apply for permission to do that. So we need to go do that online. Ugh. So now we're not on a land anymore. This is the road, which is apparently an old Roman road that runs along the perimeter of our land. So everything on this side of the wall belongs to us, and everything from the road onwards doesn't belong to us anymore. The dog's there?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's chase him off. So one of those male suitors is just down the road here.
Okay.
But yeah, this all used to be covered in really dense eucalyptus. You could barely even see through. I think I have some footage from how it looked when we came to view the property.
Aqui é a parede ainda pertence ao de cima, tudo.
Okay.
Tudo. Isto. Agora aqui é a mesma hora aqui. Aqui sim.
Go ahead.
So this is the border,
Yeah.
the wall there.
On the wall.
Como tem esta parede assim, pertence tudo à parte de cima.
So it's very different now, which is cool. And the plan is to rebuild this wall and restore this wall so that it is a better barrier, because right now anything can just kind of walk in, including other dogs and wild boars and all sorts of things. Here's a bit of a crossroads between different patches of land. So as you can see, like our neighbors, a lot of them are just growing loads of eucalyptus for the wood. So they grow them for a bunch of years. I don't know, maybe like 5 to 10 years or something. Here's some really young ones, and here's some older ones. And then they get someone to come and chop them down basically, and sell the wood for paper. This is the corner of our land. It goes up from this road, and then it also has a road along this side, which is really really convenient. But this road used to be really overgrown when we first arrived. So this, you can see, is a huge patch where we've taken out a lot of eucalyptus. The earth is really all turned up here, and you can see some big stumps still. The stumps are something that we still need to figure out how we want to deal with. The guys that came to do the land clearing suggested that we poison them, basically. Put in a cocktail of all sorts of horrible stuff, which we were a little bit against for obvious reasons. But the other options that we're aware of is basically just to remove the stumps, so to have huge diggers come in and dig them out, which has happened in a few places. where kind of they did that accidentally. But that is also a little bit dangerous because some of these stumps are really close to these really big cork trees. So these are really the biggest ones that we have along this area here. Some of them are huge and beautiful, which is really nice. So if we were to remove some of the eucalyptus stumps that were really close to those trees, it might damage the roots of the cork tree and then cause some problems, which will be a real shame. So yeah, we've got to be a bit careful. What we're going to try and do, I think, is just to monitor them and keep track of any new growth that we see, and then come and trim it back and just consistently keep trimming the new growth back, and hope that over time the roots just lose energy and start biodegrading, basically.
Check out the mushrooms.
Yeah, we can go look at the mushrooms. Yeah. So I can just zip up here. So this is a special area where we actually got married in the summer, last August. This was all cleared and didn't have any grass or growth in it, and we had hay bales sitting there, and me and Marissa got married there at the front, surrounded by lots of plants and our friends and family, which was lovely. That's what the bunting is from. We still haven't gotten around to taking it off because it's quite nice, but it started falling off, so should probably start taking it down pretty soon. And this is a project that we're currently working on, which is the mushroom beds. We built these beds and are busy kind of filling them up with pasteurized straw as a substrate for the mycelium to spread on and grow the mushrooms eventually. And here is a couple more hay bales that haven't been pasteurized. Obviously, they're just like raw hay bales, and you can see what happens. The seeds just grow through them, and the grass just starts growing. So that's why you need to pasteurize them before you grow mushrooms. So it's very excited. She goes a bit wild in long grass. So Otter is 7 months old now, and really good. She's mostly really good. Sometimes she goes a bit crazy, a bit wild. So Marissa's been doing an amazing job of planting these flower beds. So all the way along the fence we've got this lovely flower bed with different types of grasses and shrubs and flowers, which are really lovely. In the middle here it's just sort of overgrown with grass and weeds, and we're thinking about maybe keeping this as a bit of like a grassy patch, so that in the future, you know, kids and dogs and stuff can play around here. We've got our dome, which is an ongoing project. Been doing a lot of planting around the outside, so we've got this sort of perimeter of different types of shrubs and plants and stuff. What have we got on the edge? Passion fruit.
Yeah, passion fruit and kiwis.
So we've got passion fruits here growing up here, and kiwi here.
No, this is also passion fruit. And then these two is a female kiwi plant and a male kiwi plant.
Nice. Male and female kiwi plants, so hopefully they'll also start growing up the edge of the dome and giving us fruit. We want to do a lot of work inside the dome as well, but we're still planning out exactly how we want to do that. So that'll basically involve making the floor a bit more stable, getting rid of the grass and weeds, and then building some sort of furniture like shelving for us to use for our sort of seedlings and propagations, etc., and different types of plants that need a bit more protection from the sun. As you can see, the roof situation, the original cloth that we used wasn't up to the Portuguese winds. I mean, it's been there for a long time, maybe like 5 months now, 6 months. Yeah, we need to come up with a better solution for what material we use on the roof. We've got the veg beds over here, which we've been really using a lot, which has been great, and growing all sorts of lovely vegetables in. We're building these 2 new ones, and we're going to add 1.5 more sort of around the lemon tree there. This is where the septic tank is, but we're also growing like a flower bed here. And then this is our compost situation, still currently as is. So this one is basically kind of finished or full, so we're going to leave this now and maybe cover it and let it break down for a few months. And now we're adding newly to this one because we just recently emptied this to make the 2 new vegetable beds. Yeah, and that's the tour. So yeah, we'll keep doing this every 6 months or so, or every few seasons, so we can keep track of how things are changing. And it'll be really cool to see, yeah, the changes that we make